Greetings, veterans. When I think about the opportunities and challenges I have faced since exiting the service, it lands me in a position of contemplation. Here's what I know. Whether you filter what you hear through these interviews or not, we will be sharing knowledge to learn from our experience. What you choose to do with it is entirely up to you. What I can tell you and what I know to be true is people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. It is also known that where no counsel is, people fail. But in the multitude of counselors, there is safety. All I ask over the next few minutes is for you to take this journey with me as you listen to my guest counselor, drink from the knowledge given, and rest in safety knowing that you have been empowered with the wisdom to have a say in the outcome of your life. Today, I have a guest with me. He's a retired Army veteran. I'm gonna let him introduce himself in a second. But first, I want to say this: it doesn't matter if you're retired Army, Air Force, Marines, Navy, or Coast Guard. It doesn't matter if you just spent 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, or 8 years in the service. We want you to have input into this content. So I'm going to ask you, as you watch the videos, to please like, share, comment with other veterans or people that's in the service that you know are going to get out, so we can grow the platform that we could be a resource for veterans. So today, my guest is a retired Army veteran. I'm gonna let her introduce yourself. Please introduce yourself, sir.
Yes, my name is Elisha Mintz. I'm retired from the Army after being in it for 22 years. And I'm enjoying life.
I'm glad to hear that. Truly am. So Mr. Mintz, retired Army veteran, tell me about you before the service. Who were you before you joined the service? You know, your high school graduation, did you work any jobs before? I mean, who were you before you joined the military?
Well, I grew up in a pretty strict environment. My father, he sent all his daughters to college, and he said the boys need to do what they need to do. But he broke down and sent me to junior college. So I was the only one that went. But I grew up in a home. My father was a pastor, and so I grew up in church. And I've been in high school. I did football, basketball, track, and wrestling. So I was really involved in sports. And I worked with my father because he was a contractor as well. Then I realized I didn't want to get my hands dirty. So I decided I want to join the Army.
So you didn't want to get your
And
hands
I went in
dirty.
the Army after I
You
graduated.
joined the Army.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I found out I got my hands dirty anyway.
Yeah, so that's what made you enlist. You thought you were running away from hard work and ran into hard work.
Yeah, I ran right into it.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it. I mean, to me, the military was a blur for me because it all went by so fast. But I grew up in the military became a man in the military.
Yes.
I had to make my own decisions. Had to whether I was going to be successful or whether I was going to be a failure. It had nothing to do with my parents or my upbringing. It all was based on me, whether I was going to succeed or I was going to be a failure. And I think I did a pretty good job.
Yes, sir. I think you did too. So let me ask you a question. What was your job in the military? Like, what was your MOS when you came in?
Well, I came in as 11 Bravo. But then eventually I became airborne, went to Ranger School and all that stuff. But in First Infantry Division, we were the only airborne Ranger unit in the first ID. And so they sent us to Saudi Arabia, where we would first one through the berm, find the enemy, go in enemy territory, all this at night, get under the ground, stay there for 3 days, get all the information from the enemy. And then they would roll over us, the whole division. And they would pop up, go.
Seem to have lost connection with him. Let me see if he pops back in. I was enjoying the story there. See what happened there. Sometimes it's connectivity issues. Yeah. But I see him coming back in now, so that's a good thing. So hopefully He'll be rejoining us. Oh, there we go. But you pop back in on us. I think you're muted. Yeah, there you go.
Are we good now?
Yeah, you were telling us about how the division would roll over you and then it disconnected.
Yeah, they don't know whether we were there or not. They just rolled over. We showed them where the enemy was, and they would send the Apaches over, shoot up the enemy, then the whole division would roll over us. And then we'll pop up after they roll over us, go back and get debriefed, get a new mission, and leapfrog ahead of them and start it all over again.
And that seemed like there was some interesting times in the service and some dangerous times for you. But it's a great thing I see that you made it out safely. So,
Yeah, and the thing about it, we brought all of our soldiers back. No one got injured. We brought everybody back.
that's a commitment to training right there. You know, because you train the way you fight. Training, if you train correctly, you usually depends on the situation. You'll be successful. So,
And we were.
yeah. So let me ask you a question. What was your favorite assignment while you were serving in the military, in the Army?
I think one of my favorite assignments was after we left Saudi. They used us as hide sites on the Mexican border. We would go and we get attached to a unit. The patrols, there in Mexico. I think it was, in Mexico on the border there. And we would catch guys smuggling drugs back over into the US.
Yes, sir.
So we would find them and send people to pick them up. So that was pretty good. It was like 3 days on, 3 days off. We can go anywhere in California we want until our mission was to go back out and do it all over again.
Yes, that's actually protecting and serving there. I mean, we're protecting the nation. You know, we took an oath to say that we were protecting the defend, against all enemy, both foreign and domestic. So that's there is protecting the nation. So when you were coming up upon your time to retire, because you could have stayed longer when you retired. So what influenced you, or what made you make the decision to say, you know what, this is my time to exit?
Well, I think that I made my decision when I was sitting in a hide site watching these Mexicans come across the border. And I'm like, you got a tri-level house
Mm-hmm.
on 2 acres of land, and
Mm-hmm.
you sitting in a hole. It's time to go.
Time to
So
go.
right after that mission, I put in my retirement. But then I told my sergeant major, I said, that is it. I'm done. I've done all I can. I've gotten a Bronze Star out of Saudi. And I said, I think I've done all I can. And so they allowed me to go to K-State University for 2
Mm-hmm.
years. And I kind of had an easy transition out of the military into civilianhood.
You know, that was going to be one of my questions to you. It's going to be basically a lot of military members I've interviewed, whether they were Air Force, Marines, Army. They usually, their stories that they did not have a great transition from the service. Whereas in your situation, you're saying that you had a pretty good program that helped you to transition from the military life back into the civilian sector. So is that correct?
Yes. My, being in the type unit I was in, we was gone all the time. You even had to get reacclimated to your own family. Yeah. So I had to really scale back on how I saw things. And so when I went those 2 years to school, it allowed me to not getting up in the morning, going to formations and all of this stuff, kind of scaling back all the military stuff and learning how to fit back into society. And it was different because now my wife, I'm used to gone all the time, and now she's looking at me all the time, and she's like, "You need to do something."
Understood.
And so, but
She had built
it was
she
just,
had built a
and
life
believe me,
outside of you.
it was, yeah, it was a challenge because I wasn't used to seeing them all
Right.
the time. One day I woke up in the morning and I was like, "Who are these people?"
I mean, I like that's interesting story. Once again, I think we're having technical difficulties because he disconnected. He was telling me he was having some connectivity issues in his house there. I think he's in the basement where he's at, but hopefully he'll come back in. Yeah, it seems like he popped right back in again, which is a good thing. A good thing, because I'm just enjoying his transition story. That's different for a lot of folks. So that's always a good thing, to see different sides of it and different aspects. So I'm hoping that any military members who are watching this, they will be able to say, okay, I got to see how I help my soldiers transition properly. So hey, you made it back in. Glad you made it back. Yeah. You were talking about how that you used to have to, you had to readjust to waking up and see your family when you're so used to waking up in a hide somewhere.
Yeah, and it was quite a challenge. But then you finally realize, because when you away, then your wife becomes the husband and the she's handling everything.
Yes.
And then by the time you get out, it's now you got to kind of get those reins back. Mm-hmm. And so she wouldn't have as much.
Uh-oh. He popped out again. That connectivity is amazing. But I understand what he's saying is that usually in the military, whether you're a male or female member, what happens is when you deploy or you're on a mission, because the military is a fast-paced, up-tempo environment, there are times where the spouse has to take over both roles. And so he was saying that how it is a difficulty in coming back and reintegrating even with the family. So there you go. You made it back in. Please continue to share, sir.
Yes, and because you understand, she's making the transition as well as you are.
Yes, sir. No, I truly
depending
understand
on the level, yes, and depending on what she had to take over while you were gone, sometimes getting those reins back was kind of tough for them as well.
No, I respect that. I understand that. That would be a challenge. That would be a challenge to any household because they have to navigate how to operate when one or the other is out of the picture for a while. And so once they start operating in that manner, it's an adjustment to try and come back and to operate in a different manner because now the wife or the husband is back in the home. So how do you now operate when you're used to doing A, B, C, and D? Now the spouse is saying, okay, now I'll do B, C, and D, and you do A and B, and it's like that becomes a challenge. But I truly understand that, and so that's any service member has had to face that. Anyone who's ever had to deploy anywhere have had to face that. Even civilian members who are in high up-tempo jobs where they're traveling all the time have to deal with that same scenario. But this is something that's faced by the military members. It's I won't say exclusively, but more prevalently than any other place in society.
Sure.
Yeah. So let me ask another question. When you transitioned out, did you go through the VA disability process? And before you answer that, let me go back to something else. You remember in the military, they used to have a saying that when the Army had to say, if the Army wanted you to have a wife, they would have.
They'd issue you one.
They'd issue you, yeah, when you get to 1050. That's the challenge that a lot of people
Yeah.
face is that the military has a mission. and their mission is op-tempo, and their mission is designed to fight and win in the global environment. So that mission sometimes, especially when we was in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, did not encompass the family. Now, the military has done a whole lot better job now taking care of family than they did back then, because then it would just focus on the mission and the op-tempo. But now I believe now it's a little bit smooth. I got to talk to somebody who's in now and see if they can give me some clarification and whether or not, if you think it's better now, please make the comment in the comment section. Tell me if it's better, if your service did a better job than you think that maybe the Army, Marines or have done, or the Air Force, or even the Coast Guard or Navy. If your service is doing something good, please put it in the comment section. Let other people know that your service is making a better attempt at taking care of family members when the service member has to be deployed or away on a high op-tempo, so. Or I'd just like to hear your comments, your thoughts on that. Okay. So the next thing I was going to ask you was, when you retired from the service, did you go through the VA disability process to, get your medical records looked at and service connected disabilities looked at when you initially retired? Was that a process that was pretty easy initially?
Actually, I didn't go through that. I had to learn everything on my own as I got out. The Army, being in the Army, they always tell you that it was taboo to go to sick call and all of this stuff. So you kind of kept all these things into yourself.
Yeah. I remember that.
So when you get out, you didn't really go to the doctors that much, but then you start getting all of these symptoms that you had in the military.
Yeah, and you have to get them service connected, because like he was saying, when you're in the service breeds a type of a member where you're indoctrinated to the service, and they teach them. Like in the Army, we did PT in the morning, and we used to run by people who were walking or who were on crutches or something, and we used to say sick call, AWOL, can't run, can't fight. So they're breeding a mentality into you that I go to.
Yes.
Which you should go if you're injured. Now, you say, are you hurt or you injured? If you're injured, you got to go see the medical professional, because you are your government. We call it government issue. You belong to the United States government. Many people don't know that in the service, if a civilian, somebody outside, damages or get into a fight and they damage or cut or stab a military member, they're charged with damaging government property. Say, but yeah, the mentality was they didn't want you going to sick call, AWOL, or they didn't want you going to the doctor because they figured that you were wussing out, basically. And that's not like they didn't want to take care of you. It was just a mentality that was bred into you that says that you have to be tough, that you had to be able to face challenges. Because realistically, on the battlefield, you can't just say, okay, time out, I need to go see a doctor, I got a hangnail. So because of that, a lot of military members tell me that when they exit the military, whether they exited after 8 years, 4 years, or whatever, and they exited, that when they went to the VA process, sometimes it was difficult because they couldn't tie back the connection to the service, because they didn't go sick call, they didn't go see the doctor because it was almost taboo. Say, oh, he hurt his pinky, and so you were trying to be tough, saying. So you were saying that your process was a little challenging.
Yeah, it was a little challenging because, then when I started getting all these ailments, I could tie them to where I was in Saudi, Iraq, and Afghanistan. And then I had to compile all of these records from my doctor and order my medical records from the Army. And then I could start filing my claims.
Yes, sir.
And then I'm finding out that the VA really didn't want to help you, because they know what you're supposed to do, but you have to tell them what you want. So you have to do your own research to follow through how to file the claims properly.
Yeah.
So now I found out while filing my claims that it all happens from veterans helping veterans, not the VA helping veterans, but veterans helping veterans. So when we found out how to do things, I'm always talking. I spoke to a guy the other day who was a Vietnam vet who wasn't getting anything from the Army. And I was like, wait a minute. So now we're helping him get his 100%.
Understood. Understood. Well, first of all, I'm glad that you're going through the process and are helping others through the process, because, like you said, when you exit the service, they should have helped you through that process, because they know that when you're in the service, especially if you've been 20 plus years in, they take a lot of your youth and your vigor and use it for the service to the nation, which we volunteer for. So can't complain. But you're right, they should follow up with you and say, okay, have you done this? Have you done this exam? Because I talked to a lot of soldiers, older soldiers, they say that the VA initially their mindset was deny till you die, meaning that they're not going to take accountability for anything till you pass away.
Right.
I know they got sued, and so when they got sued, a lot of the processes changed. But like you're saying to me right now, it's still a challenge for some people. Yeah. Well, once again, like I said, this interview, I'm truly enjoying it, but I know it's a challenge because of his connectivity issues. And so when he comes back, we're going to try to wrap it up, because we want to make sure we give you a complete thought process for this interview, so that you can weigh in on your experience, especially going through the VA process. If you had that experience, please weigh in the comment section, and please share this with other veterans that's thinking about getting out, who have just gotten out, or have been out for a while but haven't went through the process. Share, and then let us know what do you think the VA could do better for us. That's something that we want you to be involved in this platform as we become a resource for veterans worldwide. So we need your help in that process. So if you're a veteran, it is one team, one fight. Okay. So
right, it's all about helping each other.
Yes, sir. So are you still in the process, or have you completed your process of your VA claims disability?
Well, like what I did, I was at 40% in January, and I was working a job was 10-hour shifts, so I didn't have time to really devote to the VA process. So in August, so I took off some time. I went from 40% in January to April, I was at 90%, because I started talking to other veterans who have done the process and showed me how to alleviate some of the pitfalls that you would run into. So now I am in 2 more weeks. Well, I'm going tomorrow to pick up some more documents and file 2 more claims, and I'll have unemployability and my 100%.
Yes, sir. No, I truly understand that.
So now I've devoted my time in helping other guys, so they wouldn't have to go through all these hoops that the VA main office put you through. And believe me, it helps. Yeah,
I agree with that. So as we come to a conclusion on the interview, I know I want to say, if you can give some advice to a veteran, any veteran, whether they're in the service, about to get out, retired, or ETS, or whether they've been out for a few weeks, months, years, that you would give to a veteran, what advice would you like to relate to other veterans?
I would tell to the soldier that's still in getting ready to retire, make sure that you document everything in your military record. Make sure that you document all your sick calls, so you can make sure that when you get out, that these things are connected, so that you would automatically have these things. Get a copy of your medical records before you leave. Get a copy of your 201 file before you leave, so that you have all these documents on hand when you get out, and it'll help alleviate the pitfalls that some of us had to go through. To the guys that's getting out and is out and been out for a while, it's not too late for you to start your process. get you to send off and get your records. Make sure that you have these things on hand so that you as well can be ahead of the game when you start filing for your disability.
Well, Mr. Mintz, retired Army veteran, Elisha Mintz, I want to thank you for sharing your counsel with us today. And for you out there listening, thank you for continuing to make this nation great, one soldier at a time, or airman, or Marine, or sailor. You know, I don't want to disparage any service. If you think your service is one of the better service, you know, let me know. Put in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you. You know what I'm saying? Well, once again, I am retired Army career counselor, Quentin Lee, and I thank our guest, retired Army soldier Elisha Mintz for joining us today. Please continue to like, share, subscribe, and like I said, just be a part of the platform so we can make this a great resource for other veterans. Thank you so much for all your time.
I just want to tell you that I appreciate your program. I think it's awesome to get, because who knows veterans better than veterans?
Yeah.
Who can help a veteran better than a veteran? So I'm glad that you have this platform for us to come on to share our experiences. Yeah, Thank you again.
Yeah, that's the goal of the blog. The goal is this is something that I thank you for doing. You know, free of service. This is a free service. This is something it is giving back from part of a veteran who was a career counselor who used to talk to other veterans about staying in the military, because I had to overcome the objection to getting out, and then I had to transition from the military and became an HR director at a facility for 5.5 years, an HR business partner. And so I was on the other side, the hiring side, so I saw the challenges that everyone faces getting employed, but especially veterans, on how to come back and become what's the word I want to use? How to become employable in the civilian sector, because you've been indoctrinated and you've been in charge of so many things and you've learned so many experiences, but you have to learn how to reintegrate and how to civilianize yourself back into a civilian sector. So we want to build a platform that helps you in that transition by talking with other veterans who went through the transition, and hopefully something you heard helps you. So please let us know if something you heard helps you or something we could do better. We'd love to hear from you. So thank you for your time.
Thank you again, sir.